week, students engaged in advanced Texas, also known as SEAT, have collaborated with the American Library Association to bring awareness. So this year, the theme is Let Freedom Read. I want to bring in Youth Honorary Chair for Banned Books Week, Datavion Daniels, joining us from Fort Worth this morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for coming on to talk with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you're a high school senior. So tell me first how you got involved with the National Coalition Against Censorship.
Yeah, so I got involved with NCAC about a year ago at this point. I started out leading two of their chapters here in Texas, the Student Advocates for Speech clubs. And I started those organizations, or those chapters, because it was actually a lack of books that led me to start those chapters. In one of the schools that I attended, we didn't actually have a library, and that felt like a form of censorship and being pulled out of that conversation. So I wanted to, engage my peers in getting those resources, and that's where it all started for me.
And you kind of touched on it a little bit, but can you kind of explain for people who, obviously aren't in school right now, maybe they've got younger kids or kids who are already out of school, but you're there. I mean, kind of explain what's happening in schools, at least what you're seeing, that for others who might be out of the loop.
Absolutely. So if we look at Houston itself, the National Coalition Against Censorship just released an article recently detailing that 28 school libraries in Houston have been turned into detention centers as a result of HB 900, which across Texas and across with advocates is known as the book banning bill. This bill essentially creates a very much biased review system or rating system for these books, and it's been put into effect, but it's also been caught up in some legal issues, so that's a plus. But what we're seeing now is that the trickle-down effect is that schools are closing libraries, turning them into detention centers in some cases, and pulling tens and hundreds of books off of shelves and out of rotation. And that happened in Fort Worth ISD. And now we're just seeing an entire panic with young people. And, they're now starting to realize my life is threatened. My existence is threatened because I don't have that sanctuary that I usually have in my school library.
Yeah, and just to put a little bit of balance, to bring a little bit of balance to this, Datavion, since we're in Houston, talking about those Houston schools, we've covered some of those stories to explain what that means. And while there may be students who are sent to the library, more of sort of a location issue than actually pulling books out of schools, just kind of wanted to make sure that people know that we've covered that a little bit more in depth to give both sides. But I understand that you actually played a part to the changes made to House Bill 900, the Reader Act. So sort of tell us, you're still working on more. There's more that you guys want to do with that, and tell us what.
Yeah, this House Bill 900 was just a crap show, honestly. And we felt that it was going to pass, and we did everything we could to prevent that from happening. We actually wrote amendments and sent those to senators, and those were introduced on the Senate floor, but were obviously rejected, to actually lessen the impact and the hit of the bill, because it got to a point where we knew it was going to pass. And we still want to really work with it and see if there's anything we can do in the upcoming special session. If that's something that's focused on, we're going to, try and tack on amendments to the bill and, lessen that impact, lessen that hit that it has on students across the state.
All right. And so last thing, Datavion, what would you say to parents about your perspectives on getting books on shelves?
Yeah, so there are a couple of things I would say to parents, obviously, but the main thing is allow your children to experience and be human, and don't necessarily just believe anything that's going around. Actually do the research about this stuff yourself. And we've had instances where senators, actual sitting senators in the United States Senate at a Senate Judiciary hearing, are reading out very much provocative passages from a memoir. And this memoir is not intended for the kindergartners or or, anything like that, but that's the narrative that's being pushed. So it's really important to be aware and, do your own research about this, because if you don't, you're basically taking your child's humanity away, your child's ability to humanize himself and be able to empathize and understand other perspectives and identities.
All right, Datavion Daniels, also important for people like yourself to get involved. So that's really important and a good example for others. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.